Just having fun with off limits in Mr.'s house.
Nigga, did I just catch you having fun?
Due to all the controversy surrounding the Harry Potter game, I feel I have to address the dumbassery being performed at a masterful level on both sides. One side is talking about the mental conditioning J.K. Rowling instilled into the game that makes any normal Joe think, why yes, I do want to shave my mustache in half. And you'd think the other side would be a little more reasonable with their takes. Let's check in on them.
Is you dumb?
Now, I'm not transphobic, I guess I should clear up that considering the controversy, as no, when I see a trans individual, my neurons don't activate the same way like Hitler's when he sees a Jew. That being said, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, wasn't really a fan of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Mid, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Mid, Harry Potter and the Order of Mid, you get the picture. But with all the cancellations this game has went through, I mean, what can I say?
Tell them to bring me my money.
Knowing, of course, the damage from the cyberbullying and abuse anyone who streams this game gets, I am risking a lot, putting my own mental sanity at stake.
We do not care.
With that being said, let's go smoke some crack off. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's probably a caricature of a Jew's ass, and play Hogwarts Legacy on crack. Stay tuned to the end where I'll display all the fits I wore throughout the entire game and where you can vote on your favorite one. I get a letter of acceptance from Hogwarts, nearly urinating myself in my excitement as they even sent a wizard to come teach me the basics. I create my character, putting my hand to the screen to try to get the exact skin color, to really immerse myself in the Geneva suggestioning I'm about to commit in this game before giving all my viewers the most important life advice they'll ever receive. Over here though, I have no idea what the difference is between witch and wizard, so I just picked the default one before starting the game. It seems I made my skin color too dark, but Black History Month I guess, so I'll keep it as me and the professor are almost off. Until of course Molester Moon spawns in as they're talking about something important and the professor invites him in our carriage.
As long as your young charge here doesn't mind me tagging along.
I do. But being a child, my pleas fall on deaf ears, although considering my professor looks like John Herbert, it's probably for the best. Schizophrenic Santa over here acting like... okay, never mind. Game is probably bugged, I assume, leaving a good old British chap to eat our dust, but he's allergic and goes through a flare-up leading to his death. I'm apparently a new student starting in 5th year.
Yes, sir.
Also gave myself the voice, at least I can get free shit on the internet with the small investment of some cat ears and a mic. The minister looks positively shocked, although considering our story is set in the year 1800, I'm gonna chalk that up to being the first black student since Hogwarts desegregated. We get some lore on the goblins rebelling, led by someone named Ranrock, as the minister seems to think he's a threat, although considering his stature, I'm sure equipping SWAT team with heavy-duty steel-toed boots is more than enough. I notice a slight shimmer on the object that the others don't, and my sheer TCLR subscriber aura is enough to open the object, giving us a port key. Afterwards, Daenerys and her shooters found out we left the crib without heat and launched their drive-by, unfortunately losing strands of chicken as sideburns to the attack. Wasn't a bug after all, it seems, although Rudolph's carcass has me believing the Scots haven't yet established workers' protection rights for beasts. My man's Prancer and Dasher are putting in 80-hour weeks minimum. We jump at the last moment, grabbing the key as it teleports us to safety. After I suffer a mild seizure, we get going, finding ruins and deducing that there is something afoot. Damn! Look at my hops! I'm playing for the wrong wizards. We get to an ice wall. Look, we could just go around it. Not stopping nobody. I still have to break the ice though, figuring out I really got the GoldenEye 007 animations pack unlocked and equipped.
Steady yourself! Reparo!
Reparo? What's the Riz spell? Suck my Willioso? We get to the ruins as I find a marking teleporting us to Gringotts Bank. We find the goblin snoozing on the job, threatening to step on him if he doesn't send us to the vault we need, being Vault 12. He brings in the Looney Tunes escape vehicle, driving us through Gringotts, but we get stopped by an officer. Afraid, of course, one flinch and he's reaching for a weapon. I let the others do the talking and I notice the red armband and eyes, the same ones the dragon had before he lets us through. We get to the vault as he told us the instructions indicated he needs to close the vault after we enter. After swiftly clenching my asshole, mistakenly believing that Fig shares more than a look with John Herbert.
No police here to help me. I hope you don't find the money strapped to my thigh.
Professor Fig teaches me Revelio. Man, this can't be real. Anyways, after mastering Revelio, I find another door that sends us to the ashes of Pompeii. day after the volcano ran through. Being wizards, we investigate, of course, and create ice as I see a knight, and after reflecting it with Revelio, I notice the reflection is being controlled by a cat as it follows the laser religiously before John Herbert teaches me Lumos. That lets me line up the knights. Big mistake though is King Arthur and his shooters run up on us before Fig kills me with these names. I wake up in Pompeii alone as I'm forced to make my way through before having to dig graves for even more knights, but being the only survivor, I dodge the murder case. I open the doorway, finding a vial on the bird fountain until Professor Fig bravely catches up to me after I dealt with the threats. The bird fountain is a pensive for viewing memories as he drops it in before we go bobbing for apples. In the memories, we see Gandalf the Drippy and a Venetian merchant who's about to sell their wares in Constantinople show up as they talk about an impossible path to follow, unless of course you can sense ancient magic. As Gandalf ends the pensive, believing life isn't worth living anymore. With Miriam, Professor Fig's wife's theory proved correct, and even finding a locket for our troubles, oops, we have some visitors. Ranrock rolls through, but we got our tools handy unlike with the dragon. He wants me to give him the thing we found here, but the banker steps in with balls of steel. But it seems Ranrock is proficient in metallurgy as he busts those indestructibles with ease. Fig shoots first, but Ranrock is wearing a bulletproof vest as we get blasted back, looking like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Good thing that activated an Elden Ring boss as he shows up in the nick of time, giving us the opportunity to look for an escape. Move, Professor! Have you gone senile? I find a way and we make it out, landing right outside Hogwarts as it's time for my sorting ceremony. I wonder if they'll stick me in with the first years despite my age. I'll be dropping shack bombs on the preschoolers, let me at 'em. We get a beautiful intro to Hogwarts as I'm sure all the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Mid fans collectively soiled their undergarments in this scene. We get to the feast where Fig gives me the drip.
For the moment, I ask that you keep all that's happened this evening between you and me.
We take a peek as the headmaster sees us and...
Phineas, Nigellus, Black.
He seemed so mad while enunciating black, all the syllables and everything. Well, it is the 1800s, and we did just desegregate after all. Not everyone is on board, I presume. Black comes in as we try telling him the goblins offered us a 2-for-1 at the local strip club, but Black's having none of that. Although luckily it does seem I'll be able to get sorted today. You'd think I was entering the arena like Vince McMahon's walk. Fuck you looking at? I take a seat as the hat that's been patched so many times it might as well be a different brand at this point starts moaning while giving me head. It asks me 2 questions, but the most important one seems to be the second where, yeah, I'd say I'm fairly ambitious. My goal is, after all, to spread crack to the greater world, which is a decently lofty goal, I would say. Those 2 questions puts me in the evil faction Slytherin, which I jump for joy as I'm certain I can find other war criminals among my new brethren.
You belong in Slytherin!
Yes, we got the black guy! Slytherin's about to sweep the rest of the houses in wizard basketball. Everyone knows my Levioso is much more effective than all these Brits.
And one more thing.
I've banned Quidditch because it wasn't in the game's budget. Saw the first black students in Hogwarts and thought, nah, they don't stand a chance. Canceling all sports for the year. Professor Weasley shows me to my dorm. Oh, hey, I've seen this one. At least I remembered something from my last viewing of the Chamber of Mid. The password to my dorm is aspiration as a green anaconda opens the door for me, terrified that I'll be the next victim of their legendary head game. I wake up the next morning refreshed as I head to the common room. My stellar entrance ignited my first fight, which I handily won with that thing I keep on my persons at all times. I seem to have overestimated my abilities as this kid is strong and had me looking like this when I tried to move him. The embarrassment is the last straw as it breaks my mental sanity and is the last time you're all gonna bully me. I meet my first game designated friend, Sebastian, who tells me he is an illegal spell connoisseur, finally meeting my brethren in crime as I ask him to teach me the serial homicide spells.
Seems I may have met a kindred.
Next friend is Imelda, who's watching some wizard chess, acting like the chess.com bots. I mean, you could absolutely thrash your opponent and the game will still give you 4 mistakes, 11 blunders, 5 flags on the play, 4 red cards, 2 felonies, and a misdemeanor.
My skills on a broom are legendary.
Final friend is Ominous Gaunt, who's blind, which is surprising considering they should have already taught him the Cataract Expulso spell. The other students are talking about mermaids, and seeing as how I didn't have time to jack off last night, I ask them when they'll arrive and...
I've never heard of a mermaid showing up outside our common room window. It is fun to play along though.
Been known to keep some first years on the lookout for hours.
Yeah, until they reverse the joke on you and tell you they actually saw one. Violet McDowell tells me Weasley is waiting for me as I make my way to her, telling me I'm fucked since I started in the 5th year. That's like sticking a preschooler and making them learn negative numbers in the 5th grade, especially with my British SATs needed by the year's end. To help me catch up, she gives me a book that upon opening, all my pages scatter as they see a black student for the first time. Racism aside, this is my Wizard's Field book, essentially a lore-friendly way to add quest markers, a map, and gear screen, but collecting the pages and giving them that MLK gets them on my side as I get experience every time I subdue racism. After a show of the fast travels, Miss Weasley says I should go to Hogsmeade to replace my lost supplies, and my professors will give me extra homework to help me catch up.
He's been terribly vague as to the events preceding your arrival. My suspicion is that there's more to the story than a search for belongings and an extended trip up to the castle. Fig comes in and saves me before stroking the snake, so to speak, at my masterful evasion skills, telling me to focus on my classes. It's time to customize my character and have him look nothing like the other students, a typical RPG type game. Looks like I'm about to chase down Moriarty after classes today with the drip. First class is Defense Against the Dark Arts, which I'm assuming they're gearing us up to help stop Sauron with a name like that, as Professor Hecat claims she slew this beast's bones single-handedly. But how did her frail ass do it?
Knowledge.
Ty Lopez teaches us the first spell, Levioso, fooling another student in front of the bitches. I personally would never let that shit slide. Me and my boys would be outside her front door like this later tonight. After lifting up a feather, I do unspeakable horrors to the practice dummy, so much so that the teacher had to stop my relentless assault before I was finished. Anyways, it's time to...
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
I have to go easy on him, of course, since my hands are pretty much tied behind my back considering the era.
Looking at the white girl is a foul. Speaking to the white girl is a technical foul.
I'm still able to shove my wand so far up his ass, his shit's gonna slip and slide for weeks, destroying him in our duel.
You give as good as you get.
Get what? I saw the pink of your rectum and you're acting like you gave me anything? He tells me about an unsanctioned dueling organization. Yes, let's go. I get to meet my idol Michael Vick this early. After crossing a bunch of ghosts trying to get the other to swing first, I make it to Charms class as Nutsai Onai, my second scripted bestie with Sebastian being the first, gives me a seat right beside her before Professor Ronan. Fucker looks more like he's trying to get a chuckle out of the kink to save his neck than teach a lesson. When the entire class is silent about what I assume to be basic first year lessons, Onai tries helping me cheat before he swipes that shit and remarks,
"By the looks of it, you all spent your holidays practicing Obliviate on one another."
Is that the Suck My Willioso charm? He teaches us Acquio, the spell, as he decides to give us a lesson outside today. He sets up a bowling arena. Where are the pins?
So why don't we have our newest student start us off?
Fucker's gonna make me the bowling pin. My drip really has the teacher moaning as he looks at me. It's that immaculate. I use Acquio, immediately getting 2 out of 3 balls before he sends the star student to go one-on-one against me. No way she's as good as me. Yes! Guess I'll start using Acquio at my anus at this point for all the good trying's gonna do. I'm him! I fucking Seeing a star pupil lose, he says, no, this game actually counts, before getting the empty liquor carts to act as obstacles and decide to flex and go behind the back. Losing all my points in the process. I'm not him. Me and Miss Onai have a conversation afterwards where she tells me about Wagadoo, her old school in Africa, and the dialogue options would make you think Wagadoo's gonna be uttered by her character in British, but the fucker who voice acted probably failed a couple times and scheduling was kinda tight, so I just called it Wizarding School, enraging Miss Onai as she asks me why don't I go get some bitches before storming off.
Can use Acquio on humans, if you're so inclined.
You'd be using it on clothing, to be precise, Sebastian.
You can use Acquio on clothes. Rock eyebrows. During my conversation with Professor Ronan, I figure out that witches are just woman wizards. Thank God I didn't pick witch in the intro sequence and become J.K. Rowling's biggest up. Fucker probably would have stoppo my heart out through the screen, killing me instantly.
Expect to hear from me soon regarding a special assignment.
Expect me not to give enough fucks to do it. I pass by some gargoyles who are talking mad shit, but I expect to Patron numb their skulls by fucking up all their nerves, quickly escaping the scene until I get to Professor Weasley.
I'd wager there's a good deal more to your travels here than what you've told me. Isn't there?
Me no hablo inglés. After trying to pry information out of me, she says I have to go to Hogsmeade to replace my supplies and get a new wand since...
But you'll find the magic you cast with your own wand to be far superior.
I'm already dropping bombs on the other students, making them look silly. I need the handicap. Afterwards, I have to pick one of my two besties, and I pick Miss Onai 'cause Black History Month. First off, I have to learn Reparo as he gives me a task that has nothing to do with the spell at all. He just had me do his chores before teaching me the spell. I use it to repair a statue that looks like a Twitter user finding out their favorite streamer played that wizard game. I meet Natty by the front gate as we begin our pilgrimage as I make sure the ops aren't on our tail. Twice. Gotta be thorough after all. After giving a lore-friendly reason I should play more than the main quest line to pump up the average hour spent on this game, we get to Mr. Moon, who tells us he saw a neckbeard touch grass for the first time since the Great Recession, and tells us to run away. We press on, getting to Hogsmeade, where I have to go to the 4 main shops and to meet back here to go get butterbeers. Now that sounds like it would set up an impregnable defense on all your arteries, but before that assured heart attack, I first go to Ollivander's. He knows who I am and expects me to know who he is, but I've never seen the half-mid print, so I couldn't tell you. In any case, he begins pulling out wands.
Powerful core. 10.5 inches.
Just 10.5? You see, it doesn't work. My TCLR subscriber body resists such a puny size it starts spazzing out as it can't handle my body in its current state.
A rare wood, 13.75 inches.
Now we're talking, although at the lower end still... Nope, never mind. Still far too diminutive a size it seems, disappearing the second I try to wield this weapon wannabe. Finally, he gets it. The only wand capable of being wielded by my body. 14.5 inches, there we have it, a perfect wand for the average TCLR subscriber. Your wand immediately grows to a minimum of 14.5 inches, allowing you to cast the Suck My Willioso spell at will on anything, and you also, more importantly, don't miss out on future content. I meet the other shopkeepers, although I'm gonna be honest, I'm never gonna come here again, and I get back to Onai as we prepare ourselves for the reduced blood flow to the brain Butterbeer is about to give us until a damn troll rolls up like he owns the place. And without a subscribe button nearby, I'm forced to rely on the other wizards and Officer Jenny, who thankfully lure it away. I learn how to dodge and start chucking crates at it until I remember. Can he beat Goku though? After dealing with the crossover from World of Warcraft, Constable Jenny starts egging on my ego as I say it was no problem. Look, I'm not even hurt.
If you are unharmed, perhaps the two of you wouldn't mind helping me put a few
Onai finds an excuse to ditch me as I'm forced to clean up this mess by my lonesome until seeing what the shopkeeper wanted with her. The shopkeeper wanted to congratulate me on a job well done and introduce the leveled gear system, gifting me a cloak. Look at the drip! We sense evil is afoot as we meet Ranrock talking with Rookwood and realize they were the reason we had trolls in this peaceful settlement, but unfortunately, my drip won't stay quiet and our position is made as we were forced to make our escape. We get to the child-friendly bar and meet the character that wouldn't have been included had J.K. Rowling never owned a Twitter named... Serona, my god. Would my wizard name be Crackledore? She's dope as hell though, giving us free butterbeers, although knowing drug dealers and how everyone talks about butterbeer as if it is a drug, I wouldn't be surprised if she was just trying to get us hooked on the stuff. Rookwood storms in and confronts Serona, telling her the bar is more run down than her drip before he tries taking me in.
Quick word.
Perhaps you didn't hear me.
After me and Onai get spooked, we decide it's best to leave back to the castle as she tells me she expects to hear an explanation as to why Moriarty wants to come after me, oblivious to my Sherlock Holmes drip. I make my way to Professor Fig to see if he cracked the locket's secrets. Coming in early, so I have to wait. Okay, man saw me sitting and waiting and just stepped over and ignored me, it seems. I tell him the trolls were seeing red as I diagnose them with a case of girlfriend getting her back blown by another bone as he cracked the inscription, leading us to the restricted section in the library. Before we go though, he wants me to learn a defensive spell just in case. We're only going for a book? What could possibly go wrong? I go to the dark arts professor.
See you, my young friend.
Who is you? Apparently she knows about the illegal dogfighting club Sebastian mentioned already making millions off the bets as well, and says I have to go in there and play 2 matches, getting her billions more before she can teach me the spell Incendio. Also, if I lose once and lose her money, she's going to immediately expellioso me out of Hogwarts. So I meet the man. This squeaker's coordinating an illegal fight club? First match is me and Sebastian against the—
We'll make you regret signing up.
The only thing being regretted here is your mama's jeans. After dropping 2 bodies, I can immediately play the second round.
Brilliant! Are you dueling with a partner?
No, I'll have to give him a chance. Although this time I have to go 1 against 3? It's too easy. I get back and learn Incendio as it's very dangerous being a flame spell after all. Before I burn the wooden desk and try to assassinate my dark arts teacher, but it proves ineffective as she even mocks me at the end, forcing me to run home crying. I get back to the professor, but Headmaster Black says he needs to see Professor Fig post haste, not hearing our pleas, and Mr. Fig says I can't go to the restricted section alone. We just need a book. Fuck this, I'm going alone. I decide to enlist Sebastian's help before he agrees to sneak me into the restricted area. Later that night, we see the door we need to reach, but the Hogwarts Hall Monitor Department is standing at the ready, so we have to be crafty. Sebastian teaches me the disillusionment charm as we turn invisible and begin the first stealth mission. I find a statue and play mermaid titties. Yes, that's a perfect distraction for no pussy within a nautical mile enjoyers, allowing us to sneak right in as the librarian is still up. No matter as Sebastian goes to cause a distraction and I go to swipe the key. Is she deaf in the ears or something? He split a fucking atom. Go investigate. Thank you.
Didn't get away sneaky clean, never seen a thing.
After distracting Casper's shooter, we're in the clear. It's Peeves snitching on us as Sebastian goes to try and stop him. I investigate a familiar puddle and enter a secret passageway, getting a bridge that Reparo can't fix and... After figuring out the puzzle and dealing with King Arthur's hood, I get to... I knew all we needed was a book all along. I get another pensive as the merchants from earlier come to a little girl's village and terraform it. After the Green Party's work is done, they leave, and a few years later, the girl comes to Hogwarts and... Hey, another 5th-year rookie. Wait, Gandalf was a 5th-year rookie too? And they can both see ancient magic? Is there a prerequisite to wielding ancient magic? Just don't go to school until the last possible moment? In any case, Gandalf, Venetian merchant, Queen Elizabeth, and Aladdin tell her she needs to master Hogwarts before learning the ancient ways, ending the pensive. I get back to Sebastian, who gets caught, and when the librarian asks if he had anyone convince him to do it, an associate of some kind.
There was nobody else. I came alone.
That's my boy! Welcome to the club. I get back to Fig, and after flailing about for attention doesn't work, I resort to more drastic measures.
Unorthodox. It's inconceivable. It's... Fig. You have a visitor.
Also, outfit 3 as I show Professor Fig the book, but there are 2 pages missing. Don't know why it was only these 2. If someone wanted to stop us from finding the book, why not just tear all the pages out, or burn it, or ejaculate on it, and then use Hardenoso? After telling him about the other memories, he says he'll study the book on his way to the ministry in London, who wants to hear from the horse's mouth how Molester Moon met his end, and I should focus on my classes. Before that though, it's championship round time as I go 1v4, but it's still too easy as my 14.5-inch wand wielded by the peak physical specimen is more than enough to take out a petty 4 background characters, winning me some drip I can't equip just yet. Next class is gardening as Anne of Green Gables is teaching us biology today, giving me the most amount of material in a 2-minute sequence I've ever had the pleasure of sorting through in my time on YouTube.
We do look forward to growing together.
Oh stop, you're making me grow.
The prudent herbologist is no more afraid of the venomous tentacular than the bouncing bulb.
Not the only bulb you'll be bouncing today. We protect our ears as I think I've seen this one before and know what to expect.
Grip their mandrake by the tendrils and give it a firm tug.
Okay, come on. That's too much material for even me to use as I show her how hard I want it tugged later, and... boy, if you don't shut your ass!
I'm very sorry about that. Yours was a bit mature, I'm afraid.
Not the only mature being I'll be dealing with today.
Come on, man! That's too easy!
She wants me to get familiar with Chinese chomping cabbage. Essentially, this game's grenades. After getting the green light to visit her after hours, gonna be leaving the office in 30 seconds or less, like. Next up is potion brewing class, as we're learning how to brew health pots today. Asking why we need this potion before giving points to Ravenclaw for the easy answer. How does the point system work in this universe? With all the students and all these potential points, imagine someone like Tyler 1 went to Hogwarts and his team lost points or something.
I'm getting damned on!
I make the potion as he wants me to now make a defensive potion by using ingredients found in his office. Gareth Weasley is cooking though and asks me to snag some items for him too, getting all the items, giving the feathers to Weasley, and making my potion. Let's see how Gareth's experiment is going.
What's happening? Wait, it's not supposed to.
Get it!
Who let him cook?
Points from Gryffindor. Again.
I'm getting damned on!
Next up, I have to meet Onai in a secret location, and what are these chickens made of? Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to settle for a vegan diet tonight. I already told Sebastian, so I might as well tell Onai about Ranrock rocking my world with his tool and Gringotts, and that he's after me. She has a plan though, and Theophilus, the goon who looks like he ends every sentence with bouse, is Rookwood's right hand and goes to whip up a plan to cripple Rookwood's operations. Check out my other videos down below in the pinned comment, as that's going to be it for part 1, as a 15-hour story would take me weeks to crack down into one video. But let me know down below if you want me to continue this game, and don't forget to vote for your favorite fit with all the options on the screen right now. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.